Believe me, I have learned by now to appreciate seeing these differences, these contrasts. There is more in this article, much more in this article. But for right now, I'm concentrating on just these two. That light seems now to be in two different places. It seems to arrive before it is sent. It's not that it's there before it is sent. It was already there. It never left. Which leads me to another very important point. We never left either. We never left that divine light within us. All we do is to obscure it, is to block it. A few weeks ago I talked about stones, and I showed you the picture of a castle built on the top of a rocky mountain with millions of little stones. Those walls were built in the 6th century. And I said, these stones in this castle symbolize the stones that we place in our minds and that we block it, so that all we think that is real are the stones in that castle. And we do not realize that the stones in our mind are preventing us from seeing the reality that exists in all of us. We never left the light within us. All we do is cover it. All we do is to invent masks to prevent us from looking inward. I am not putting scientists down, but look at the time this scientist who happens to be at Princeton University. Look at probably, I guess, all his life as a scientist to arrive at this conclusion that the speed of light is not just 186,000 miles per second, but he already went 300 times faster than that. This is fascinating. In a way, it is fascinating. Because where we are heading to, where we are heading to what? To infinity. To that light is infinite. Can you understand? Can you see what it is like 186,000 miles per second? And now 300 times faster than that? Yes, be glad that we are heading to infinity, to eternity, to something that we never split from, that we never separated from. So you can call that energy light, call it God if you want to. Remember Star Wars? Remember Star Wars, that movie years ago? And the kids were, for many years, they were playing with well, it looked like swords, but they were not. They were beams of light. And then you say, energy, here is the energy. Throw beams of light at each other. And energy, beams of light. You want to call it energy? Fine. That movie was on for many years, and I think it came back recently. It's nothing but a cowboy movie with beams of light. Nothing new there, but I guess it was very, very well received at that time. So, as I said, the title of the article, my article on my website, and also the article in the London Times is quote, Eureka, scientists break the speed of light. Do you agree? Do you really agree? What do you think when scientists are now trying to prove, so to speak, that light arrives at, or seems to arrive at its destination before we send the beam to that destination? I would like your opinion on this. What do you think about the fact that I'm saying, if you think that reality is only what you see out there, we are really limiting yourself. Because if you think that reality is only what happens on a daily basis, then you really have difficulty accepting the sentence, there is nothing new under the sun. But if you learn to understand that reality the way I have it in my book, okay, it's talking here somewhere about fragmentation. The fact that all the information is in our minds. We already know the end, the beginning, the middle of all there is. That's all in the hologram in our minds. I have a chapter on that. And what happens is that when we come to Earth, we fragment that information in accordance with our needs in space and in time. And then I refer to the fact that, for instance, that part of that fragmentation is not only our lives on Earth now, but also collectively. And that we all chose 2,000 years ago to watch the birth of a baby called, later on called Jesus Christ. All right? I'm going to read here a quote from Plato. This is a man that lived 400 years before Christ in Greece. All right, he was a student of Socrates. And I don't think Socrates ever wrote anything, but Plato did. And I am here. Okay. It's in one of his books, this one is entitled Meno. Plato refers to Socrates, who I said was his teacher, saying, quote, the rest is quotes and quotes, but it's all part of the same. There is no such thing as teaching, only remembering. We have learned everything there is to learn. The more we seek to learn, the more we must realize that seeking and learning is all remembrance. Unquote. No wonder the title of my book is You Can Remember Love. No wonder. I want you to remember, if nothing else from my talk tonight, I want you to remember that you are an artist. You are the artist of your own life. You sculpture your life. By this, I mean that, as I said it before, you have a choice to see things one way or to go inward and see them the other way. And that's where the sculpturing of your life comes in. Okay? We are all born to do this, to learn how to be the artists, to be our own artists, our own sculptors. For some of us, it's easier than others. I would like to thank you for listening, and there is an announcement that follows. I really appreciate that you tuned in tonight, as always. Remember, you can sculpture your life the way you wish. And remember also that I learn from being here on television with you. Please do not hesitate to contact me. As I said, I can send you the article by mail if you wish to. If you do not have access to a computer, I can send it to you by mail. If you give me a call. Thank you. God bless.